Good morning and welcome to Home Affairs. Call me Movi. As you know, I am the motivator. And I'd like to thank every single person that's tuned in right now. Tell your buddies to also tune in because today we're going to learn a lot. As usual, we have segments just for your enjoyment and information, basically. Now, we have Inspired by Women, where we have some very strong, opinionated women across the world come to inspire us every single Saturday. So catch that at the end of the show. Yeah, that closes the show, basically. We also have Home Tip, where we give you some remedies and, delicious recipes to try for your families. So make sure if you're not a good cook, then I am here to help you in the kitchen, okay? We also have, of course, our health is very important. So Health Zone takes care of all of that. But before I bring you Health Zone, we have a segment dubbed Today's Diary. And that's where people write into us with their predicaments and we help them out by talking about it. So please, when you have a problem, send it to Movi the Motivator so I can air it and help other people. Please make sure you're sending it to movimovi@gmail.com, or you can come to our offices here at Joy Prime, right opposite Joy FM. Well, today we are talking about becoming your own parent. How does it feel to be alone in the world and have no direction? That's what we're talking about. But on Health Zone, a doctor comes in to educate us about some of the illnesses that we don't usually hear about or read about. And on Health Zone as well, we make sure that we make you sweat a little bit to keep your blood pumping. So please, let's kickstart this show with Azonto Twins as we sweat it out with good vibes.
Hello world, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Health Zone of the Home Affairs, right?
Yes, that's right.
All right, cool. So we're the Azonto Twins, and my name is Ramsey.
And I'm Shadi.
Right, so last week we did the Afrozonto Fitness, but it's more like a foreign type of dance, because Afrozonto, it's a blendation of local and international dance mixed in one workout, all right? So today we're going to do the Afro beats, Afro
Zonto?
Yeah.
All right. So more of Azonto moves.
Right?
That's great.
And the showcase and all that.
I can't wait to
all
get
right,
started.
Cool. Okay, nice. So you ready? Okay, so watching us from home, you can join us by doing the same movement. All right, so nice. How are you? Good morning. All right, let's go. Up. Are you ready? We're going to move up this way. 1, 2, energy. Step. Step. All right, let's go. Waist, shoulders, head, and up. Waist, shoulders, head, up. Waist, shoulders, head, up. Waist, shoulders. All right, Azonto moves. Down. All right, make sure you bend your knees down and squat. You ready, guys? No, shoulders down. I will come out from you. Your smile. Go. All right, and change it. All right, guys. Okay, let's go. Step, step, step. Are you ready, guys? Now. Step. 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 1, swing your arms. Swing. Step. Afrozonto. Go down. Step. Yay. All right. One more time. Waist, shoulders, head, and up. Waist, shoulders, head, up. Waist, shoulders, head, up. Waist, shoulders. Stretch your arms this way. Let's go. Cut. Cut. Energy. Energy. Sugar. Sugar. Are you ready, guys? Go. Cut. All right. Let's go. And move. Down. Down. down, down, down. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, guys. Now your knee comes up and your upper body goes down. Are you ready? Whilst you're doing that, you have to squeeze your abs. Now, energy. Squeeze your abs. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, go. 1, 2, go. Squeeze your abs. Up. Are you ready, guys? Yay. Kick. All right, Mommy, go now. Step, back, step, go, go, go. All right, wow. Trust me, if you're flexible in your waist, it's very good for you and for your household. Trust me, it's all good. So, wow. So these are Azonto Twins on Health Zone, on Home Affairs. All right, with Moby. That's so nice. So this is Azonto Twins once again. You can follow us on Instagram, Azonto Twins GH International. On Facebook, Azonto Twins GH/UK. Yeah. And on Twitter, Azonto Twins GH. All right? Yeah. So you just log on, keep searching and keep dancing, because dancing is live. All right? Are you ready, guys? We'd love to see you most often. So hope to see you in the next episode with Moby.
These guys have been amazing. Have it. Trust me, those moves are not easy. If you really want to be, want the exercise to be effective, you have to put in your all. So when you're exercising, hold your core in tight, and move your muscles a little bit more, with energy. And that's the way you lose weight. Many thanks to Azonto Twins and to Blink Body Gym on the Spintex Road. Well, we're moving on to the other part of the Health Zone. And this is where we might actually show you some images that might be a little bit disturbing this morning. So we do apologize, but it's for your benefit. Please, let's all hear what our doctor has to say about respiratory tract infection.
Okay, viewers, today we are talking about respiratory tract infections. Respiratory tract infections are infections of the respiratory system, starting from our nostrils or our noses to our lungs. There are two types of respiratory tract infections. We have upper respiratory tract infections and lower respiratory tract infections. The upper respiratory tract infections occur from our nostrils to our larynx. That is the area where our voice comes from, our voice box. Any infection lower than our larynx is a lower respiratory tract infection. It can be caused by bacteria, viruses, and sometimes fungi. But the commonest, especially the upper respiratory tract infections, are commonly caused by viruses. The common one being the common cold, or what people call flu. These are very common infections. In fact, in most districts in Ghana and nationally, respiratory tract infection is most of the time about the third common disease that take people to the hospital, or even if you are talking about causes of death in the various districts of the country, respiratory tract infection comes probably the third or second, depending on where you are. In some settings, you can have as much as 40% of the people who attend the clinic having respiratory tract infections. In other settings, it can be about 10% or 5 or 6%. There are certain risk factors that predispose people to having respiratory tract infections. These include children below the age of 5 years, people who are in the elderly group above 65 years, people who have immune suppression or whose immunities have been reduced as a result of either cancers or diseases like HIV, or being on certain drugs like what we call steroids for prolonged period, people who are malnourished, who are not eating well or having adequate amount of various nutrients, and people who have allergies to things that are inhaled are at a high risk of getting these infections. Asthmatics, people who have heart disease, people who have leukemias, blood cancers, they are all at high risk of getting respiratory tract infections. It presents usually with a cough, and for the upper respiratory tract infection, most of the time it will come with a nasal discharge, a throat pain or swelling, cough, and sometimes fever or high temperature. For the lower respiratory tract infection, it presents with fever, cough, some chest pain, sometimes difficulty in breathing, and what we call wheezing. That is very common in asthmatics. In terms of the management for upper respiratory tract infection, at home, what you can do is to try and take in a lot of fluids, take some vitamin C rich fruits like oranges, pineapple, watermelon, or their juices. Do a little bit of some steam inhalation and take a rest. And most of the time, these upper respiratory tract infections, they go away within 5 to 7 days. However, for the lower respiratory tract infections, they can be very serious. They can develop into what we call a pneumonia, or sometimes if it's unattended to, it can develop into abscess formation in your lungs. Don't forget, a disease like tuberculosis is also considered as a respiratory tract infection if it is in the lungs. Tuberculosis can be in other parts of the body, but if it's in the lungs, it's also considered as a lower respiratory tract infection. And so these lower respiratory tract infections must be attended to at the hospital level. However, if you are at home and you have fever, you can take paracetamol or ibuprofen to try and suppress the fever. But if you are an asthmatic, you cannot take ibuprofen because it can induce your asthma. And then if it's a lower respiratory tract infection, you must report to the nearest hospital facility. If it's upper respiratory tract infection, within 5 to 7 days, you are still struggling with the disease, it's advisable to go to the hospital because bacterial infection can take over from the initial virus infection. In terms of complications, these respiratory tract infections, because they can induce fever, can make children have convulsions because of the fever. It may lead to complicated pneumonia that may cause lung destruction and death. It may lead to abscess formation in your lungs. Sometimes it may even lead to heart failure, and especially the person has heart valve problems. It can lead to very complicated heart conditions. They can easily be prevented. Those of us, and I skipped how we acquire. We acquire it by inhalation of the organisms, either the bacteria or the viruses, through our airways. But there is another risk. When people cough or sneeze and they don't cough when you have it, you should. Some people claim that you should not take any food because when you take food, you feed the organisms and they get worse. No, that is the time that you should rather eat a lot to bring up your immunity to be able to fight the disease. People also think that some of them are not transmissible. It's because they did something that they have that infection. No, it's a highly infectious disease, and therefore anybody who comes into contact with anybody who have those diseases can have it. So in a nutshell, this is respiratory tract infection.
If you know what's happening to me right now, I think my dress is giving me respiratory tract infections. I can't breathe. But anyway, we're moving on to take a break. When we come back, you know what we're discussing, right? If you don't, it's how to become your own parent in this modern world, in this, trying, judgmental world where everybody judges you, especially when you don't have a father in your life. They say, oh, you're disturbed, You probably have, you know, your bipolar, all kinds of, you know, perceptions about people who don't have parents. Well, when we come back, some tips on how to survive all those perceptions. Back in a minute. Back, everybody. If you just tuned in, it's Home Affairs as usual, every Saturday at 7 to 8 a.m. right here on your favorite channel, Joy Prime. Many thanks for sticking right where you are. Well, since, you know, we celebrated the Salah without me on screen, I'd like to say to all Muslims out there, Barakat the Salah, and I hope you are having a wonderful Salah celebration. Well, today we are talking about becoming your own parent in this modern world. And I have just the perfect two right here in my studios. Every single time I'm here, I'm not here alone. I bring awesomeness. I bring fantastic people on the show. Many thanks to the producer and, you know, all the team that worked tirelessly to make this work. And I must say, today, the perfect duo are here. They're not together as in together, but on the show, they're here together and they're going to enlighten us about how to become our own parents. You know, you can also get interactive with us. So it's 0302-211-70124. When we activate the phone lines, please make sure you're making your words heard and also advising. Or if you need advice, call in and ask for it. It's free. You don't have to go and pay a counselor. They are sat right here in my studios. So let's get the ball rolling. We have the most amazing looking woman I've seen on set. Yeah, so far. Like every single time they come, I'm like, oh, you're gorgeous. And then the next week, I'm blown away. So please help me welcome the most gorgeous looking woman, the most sensible woman I've seen in my life, apart from my mama. The most amazing and profound speaking lady I've met in my entire life. Please help me welcome Hajia Simbiatu Ponle, CEO of Victory Top Photos. Thank you so much for coming right into the right.
Yes.
How is life?
Life is good. Life is
I can
really
see that.
good.
I mean, you're all dressed in white. Are you going somewhere from here?
I'm still celebrating Salah.
You are. So where's my Salah rice? The Salah rice has to come.
Yes.
Where is it?
I'll bring it. Don't worry.
So what are you doing today?
Today, when I'm done here, I'll still go to shop and glance through one or two things and go back home.
Right. So what do you love about your job? Why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I have to take care of my family.
Oh, wow.
I have a whole lot to take care of, so I have to do it. I have orphans.
Are you the breadwinner of your family?
Yes and no.
So, okay, explain.
I'm a single parent.
Right.
So, and I still have my siblings are all passed away and their kids are on me, so I have to
condolences.
force myself and take care of.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so selfless of you, you
That's
know?
it.
Wow. So how are they coping with, you know, the loss and everything?
By grace, we are coping well.
Wow. Okay. Well, you have heard the lady. And she is definitely going to, you know, put some flesh on this skeleton. I have another awesome person here in my studios who's going to, you know, broaden our whole thinking, our knowledge a little bit so that we can all survive, especially if you're an orphan, like a writer who wrote into us. This is the time you have to be all ears. Listen so you know how to, you know, apply it to your own life and make your life better. Ladies and gentlemen, the most handsome man to have ever stepped on Home Affairs set, the most amazing Mr. Ellie Evans. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Great. So you are a web developer,
Yeah.
an IT consultant, and you're CEO of...
Dominion Technologies.
What do you guys do?
We are web developers. We sell computers and other peripherals.
Okay.
And then we do networks, both wired and wireless networks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long have you been operating?
Since 2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's that going? It must be going
Well-
good because, wow, 2001, that's like 15
Yeah,
years.
well, yes.
How old are you? You barely look, 21. When did you start from birth?
Well, the business was registered in 2001,
Right.
and but we started operations around 2006.
Right.
Yeah, that was when we started serious operations.
Oh, okay. Okay.
well,
And I hope
building
everything is
small,
going well.
Yeah.
I see a ring on your finger. Where's your wife? She should be tagging along, you know? You should carry her like your handbag. What's going on? You left her at home?
Yeah.
So how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Wow.
Well, I say 3 all the time because I have one other one. I have 3 boys, 2 biological.
All right.
Yeah.
One adopted.
Yes,
Girl or boy?
boy.
What? So 3 boys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not adopted. He's my brother's son, and he lived with me. So
Oh.
yeah.
And what's
So I
your
always-
brother?
He's around.
Are you kidding me? So you're more daddy than your brother?
Well, he doesn't live in Accra.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. How old is he?
Is he?
Yeah.
He's about 50.
No, the son.
Well, he's 14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He loves living with you, I guess.
Yeah. He loves it.
Wow.
Because we are like friends.
Oh, that's nice. That's great. Okay, so you guys know why we're here. You're both parents to many, many kids. So I'm sure you have lots of experience.
Yeah.
But there's an issue that's, happening in our societies, in our countries, and we kind of turn a blind eye. But we are the first to judge whenever there's a situation like, a child is going wayward or something like that. Hajia, how do children who are orphans especially, how can they cope with, the whole being tagged as an only, an orphan, being tagged as, basically society tags them as bad people. People who don't have parents in Ghana are bad children.
Most of them are.
Most of them are?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Some people may say they are orphans, so you have to have sympathy on them.
Yeah.
And you be having sympathy on them, they don't care whether you have sympathy or not. If you are advising them, they will not take it. I have some in my house.
Oh dear.
They will
Really?
not. Yes, they will not take it.
So what do they want from us?
I don't know. You can do everything for them. You can feed them. You can bag them. Anything you do, they will not appreciate it.
So are they just ungrateful or what? Or have we
let
turned them
let
that
me
way?
put it that way.
So we have turned them that way? Or is it the experience that has,
I don't really
molded
know.
them to...
I don't really know, but most of them are ungrateful.
Oh dear, that's sad to know. So is it true what these pastors have been, saying to people, when you don't have a mother or a father, you are not really a good person? I mean, I've had people say...
Some are good. And the ones that are good, they want to be good. That's why they are good.
Right.
If somebody is an orphan, you don't have anybody except God, and someone takes you or someone picks you to help you, you have to humble yourself, be respectful. When they talk to you, you listen.
Yeah.
Through that, you can make it in life. But some of them, when you are advising them or you are talking to them, they don't even care about what you are telling them. They think what they want in life is what they have to do. And if you are like that in life, not only orphans, if you are in life and you don't want to take advice or you don't want to respect, you don't want to humble yourself, even Quran have said it and Bible have said it, that you have to humble yourself, be respectful.
Yeah.
If you humble yourself, God will raise you up. But if you are proud, or I don't know, if you have prideness in you, you never make it in life.
Right. Oh dear.
That's my
scary.
belief.
But a lot of people also have this perception that, children, especially children who hawk by our streets. Honestly, when I see the kids, hawking and by themselves, sometimes I see as little as 8-year-olds, carrying water or very heavy, loads, and you can see they're suffering. And some of them, I don't know their story, obviously, because I don't talk to all of them. But some of them actually have parents. What about those who don't have parents, but are being pushed to do, this kind of thing just to survive? I think, Ellie, I should throw that to you.
Well, thank you. I think there are two kinds of orphans. There are those who have accepted that they are orphans and want to be dependent on other people. And then there are those who are genuinely orphans. They've lost their parents, but it doesn't get into their heads, you know. And those ones, usually, they are very forceful, and then they try doing things to earn some money.
So those are the ones who don't want to accept that they are orphans?
Exactly.
Okay.
And, I mean, most of us lost our parents when we were young, but we didn't...
Thankfully, I haven't yet.
Well, yeah, well... we didn't think we were orphans. We pushed ourselves.
Are you an orphan?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Well, I lost my mother. We lost our mother when, you know, I was like 5 or 5.
Man.
Yeah,
So
1982.
you have any, you know, memories?
But I have older siblings.
Okay.
Yeah, I have older siblings.
All right. Who took care of you?
Yeah, who took care of me.
And your father?
My father also passed on later.
Oh,
Yeah.
condolences.
Pardon?
I said condolences. So you are
That's all right.
basically an orphan now.
Well, that's what
A grown one.
A grown orphan, all right. Well, but you see, I don't see myself as one.
Right.
You know, because I'm quite forceful. I know that there's the God who brought me here, and I know He has a purpose for me. So what I did was that I pushed myself. You know,
Yeah.
so there are these kids on the street, some of whom have parents.
Yeah.
Some, their parents push them on the street to
Yes.
to
Lazy
work.
parents.
yeah, to make some money for them.
Yeah.
You know,
Some parents don't work. They actually rely on their, you know, their kids
That's right.
to bring the money home.
Yeah.
That's sad. What do you
Yeah.
have to say about, you know, parents who do that?
that's child labor. I
Yes.
think it is very, very unfair.
Yeah.
And for those kids on the streets, you never know what happens to them. You know, they could get hit by vehicles, they get abused by people and all that. You know, so that is very wrong, and I think the state should do something about that.
Well, how can the
those
state
parents.
help, though?
Well-
is there a way they can help?
If they go on the street during, I think, social welfare, if they go on the street during school hours and pick all those kids up,
And where do they
look
take
for,
them?
well, take them to
The
the
president's
social...
house. We blame everything on the president.
Well, and then investigate their backgrounds, check who their parents are, prosecute
Do
them
they
if
have
necessary.
background checks? Do they work in
No,
Ghana, really?
those kids have places where they sleep.
Right.
You could follow them to where they sleep, you know, follow them to know who their guardians are
Yeah.
and so on, and then pick it up from there. You know, there are some that genuinely are forceful. Some, they want to go back to school,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
but they get on the street to try to do something so they can get back into the classroom.
Right.
And very often they end up not in the classroom because they don't make enough to be able to go back to school,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
So,
So how can, you know, like an ordinary citizen like me, if I want to help a child off the streets, I mean, do I need to contact social welfare to help me get, you know, access to that child? Or can I just pick any child off the street and say, okay, I want to help you further your education. I want to look after you. I mean, how should we go about, you know, helping people on the street?
picking people off the streets and trying to help them can be dangerous because you never know whom you're picking.
That's it.
You know, but there are times when I remember I was on a panel to interview some people for a job one day, and I met this young man. He had just completed senior secondary school, SHS.
Right.
When I saw his results slip, I was like, "What are you doing here?" And he wanted a hotel reception job,
Right.
you know. And I was like, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Well, he wanted to do something to be able to help his mom."
Ooh.
I was really touched.
Yeah.
I asked him to go for pick up a university form, fill it, submit, let's see, and he got admission into University of Ghana.
Oh, wow.
He went to do lab technology, and I started helping him pay the fees. And then by the time I realized now, that was when the internet scam was at its peak.
Oh, dear.
And someone contacted me through one of my blogs, and she was being scammed. So she asked me to check for her. When I checked, the address was Nima, you know, those Sakawa
Right.
boys. And I said, the boy was like 13 years old. And she said she wanted to sponsor him. I said, well, there are people who really need help, okay, who
Right.
really want to go back to school.
Right.
Some of those boys, they make so much money, they don't even think about the classroom. And
because they think going to school is all about, you know, acquiring wealth.
well,
So, I mean, it is part of it, but it's not the only thing. Money is not the only thing to, you know, make someone a better person.
yeah.
So we should educate kids on how to be their own parents. And I think we should actually take the, you know, preamble before we continue with this discussion. Please listen or read.
On today's diary this week, one of our viewers called Kukwa needs our help desperately. She says, "Dear Movi, growing up without my parents, especially my mom, is the worst thing that ever happened to me. My mother died at birth. You can call me an orphan since my dad also died when I was just 3 years. I am now 20 years old and recently completed SHS. I have had to struggle in many forms, from being a house help to hawking on the streets. Life has been very unfair, and there's been times I felt dying was a better option, but mysteriously, God has kept me alive. I would like to further my education, or better still, learn a trade, but I am lacking support. Movi, I am totally lost, and I don't know what to do. How do I survive without parental help?"
So, Kukwa wants to know how to survive, you know, with all that's going on in her life. Sometimes she feels like dying. That part caught my attention. Like, you know, no one should ever feel like dying, no matter how bad the situation is. Hajia, what do you have to say to a child? Okay, she's an adult, a 20-year-old young adult who feels like dying because of her situation.
I'm really touched on her story, because all what she said now means she don't have any family. She has no one to go to. So it's really touching.
Yeah.
But she shouldn't mention she wants to die.
Right.
It's a very bad thing to say. God knows best. If she can still try her best, see, maybe if she's in a church, as how Mr. Ellie said,
Right.
if you are in a church, or you are either a Christian or a Muslim, or you are in a society,
Right.
you can, your behavior or the way you live your life can even touch someone to help you.
Right.
But if she's not in any society, if she's not in a church, or she's not in any religion, now she should try her best to be in one.
Right.
Surely Allah will see her through.
Right. So obviously religion teaches us to give, and so that's a good place to also go and get help.
That's it.
And how should she behave in such, you know, an environment where she's going to be new to it, because she didn't mention that she's a Christian or anything. So let's just assume that she's a Muslim or Christian or whatever religion. How does she introduce herself to this new setting? Is there a way that you have to go about it, or can you just walk into a mosque or a church and say, "Hey, I'm here, I need help, help me now"?
You can walk into a church, or you can walk into a mosque, and if there is anyone there you can talk to that person, and you have to be a humble person, a respectful person in that society.
Right.
When you walk in there, your behavior or your situation that you are in, the people around can see how you are, and if someone is touched by your story, they can help you.
Right. Now, I've heard a lot of, you know, counselors and pastors say that people without parental guidance go wayward easily, and people who don't have parents in their lives never amount to anything, and you know they just not in society. They're the ones who are basically the bad ones. What do you have to say about that perception?
All of them are not bad. As I said before, some of them are bad.
Right. But some people who have both parents are also bad. So who are we to, pinpoint
even
who
pastors, or let me put it this way, sheikh, or they also have bad children.
Right.
They have bad kids.
Right.
So the only thing I'll say is the lady should try her best and join a place, join a society that can bring something out of out of
so
her.
she should be a part of some kind of fellowship that would
That's
see
it.
her problem.
That's it.
Okay.
Without that, maybe she'll just jump into a bad society or a bad company that will even bring a situation worse.
Right. But sometimes I see people like this also, fall in some very bad, circumstances, and it makes their life even more harder. And I feel it when they say, I want to die. Because maybe, let's take, for instance, touch wood, it wouldn't happen to Kukwa, but she gets someone who says, okay, I want to help you. Some people will also want to, capitalize on your vulnerability and use and abuse you. I see house helps a lot being abused sexually or physically, by their employers. How can people know? I know it's a gut feeling. Sometimes it's an instinct thing. When you meet someone, you know that, okay, this person is a good person or not. But sometimes you also meet someone who can be very nice to you, and then later on, they switch. And probably, they sexually abuse you. How does a young woman like Kukwa cope in a situation like that?
Well, I think you cannot tell everything from meeting someone the first time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you may follow your instincts, but you may not always be right. Now, in men, when you meet a man who has a bad motive, very often you can tell from the way they look at you, they look at you in a certain way, and you can tell that this guy, if he gets the opportunity, he may want to do X, Y, Z. There are times when, they'll be very normal with you, but they may be tempted. Now, if you meet someone like that, just move away.
Right.
And I think she should seek counsel from, an imam, a pastor or something who will give her some guidance, who will advise her. And the issue of finding solution in church is not in going to tell your story at church.
Right.
It's in going to fellowship, get yourself busy worshiping, and that's where God will make the provision.
Right, I like that. So it shouldn't be your intention to go and get help from people, but to serve God.
To serve God.
Okay.
And God will open the way for you.
I like that. I really do. But anyway, you know what? I think we should go for a break, and then when we come back, and we are back. It's Home Affairs right here on Joy Prime, and you can catch us every single Saturday, 7 to 8 a.m. only on your beautiful big plasma. If you don't have a big one, you better get a fat one so you can see as well. But anyway, if you don't catch the show, just in case you just tuned in, then please make sure you're catching it on YouTube, where we upload, our old shows, so you can get some, information on how to go about your lives. I have the beautiful Hajia Simbia Tuponle here in my studios, and Mr. Ellie Evans, a very handsome web developer, but he's taking ladies, so hands off. We're talking about how to become your own parent, and Kukwa, who sent us a message, I think has opened, way for people to also learn a lot. But sometimes in a situation like that, people feel like the society or the country owes them something. When they lose a parent or both parents, they feel like, okay, now I'm alone. I mean, the world has to help me. The world has to be kind to me. So they are a bit reluctant, or should I say they are a bit reserved, and they're just waiting for somebody to help them out by force. Some of them are very aggressive with it, like, oh, but I don't have parents, so you have to give me this, you have to give me that. How should people, I'm not saying that they are outcasts, but how should people treat orphans who feel like, okay, we all owe them something?
Well, we need to let them know that we owe them nothing but love.
Right.
And, they need to know themselves that they have their lives in their hands.
Right.
Whichever way they mold it, that's what they become.
Right.
Okay, so they need to know that the state doesn't owe them, even though the state technically owes all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pay up.
But let's not wait for the state to do what they have to do. Let's put our lives in our own hands, push ourselves forward, work hard, and then achieve something for ourselves.
Right.
You know, instead of blaming it on someone, a relative, an uncle, a big brother or something, we should rather be forceful.
Right.
You know.
Now, you
work
talk
harder.
about being forceful, Ellie,
Yeah.
but some of these people are very aggressive with the forcefulness, you know, like they want to, they're so aggressive that they want to do everything at once. You know, they want to involve themselves in everything like scams and stuff like that. How do they stay, you know, grounded, humble, and you know, push for good things? How can they do that?
I believe
without
in
parental guidance?
I believe in following one's passion. Okay, look inside of you. Ask yourself, what comes easily to you? What do you do effortlessly? And then focus on that one thing and work hard on it. If you're a good artist, you could, you know, learn to draw.
Right.
You know, you could do anything.
Right. So Ellie said, find your passion. We have activated the phone lines right now, 0302-211-701 and 702-703-24. Okay? So call us right now and tell us exactly what you think about this. What can Kukwa do to better her situation? She wants to go back to school. At least that's somebody who knows what she wants. Some of them don't know what they want, Ajia, and they just follow the crowd. Like they think, okay, I don't have parents. I see, you know, a block of kiosks, so I'm also going to, you know, get a kiosk, or I'm going to sleep at Katamanto and do hawking, and then they fall into all kinds of, you know, groups that infect them, you know, in a bad way. How can Kukwa stay away from that kind of lifestyle where they think, okay, it's me against the world, so me too, I'm going to do whatever I can, but they do it wrongly? How can we advise them?
I don't really know what to say again. Because, you know, I was telling you something right now about me having the same problem in my home.
Yeah.
If you are fixing that person in somewhere, maybe you think he can make it, that person don't want
it.
He don't want it. So I don't know about Kukwa.
So should we just leave them to do what they want to do?
We can't just leave them to. If you are in such family, you can't just leave that person, because if he goes or if she goes to the last end, when he or she is having any problem, you are going to
be affected.
You'll be affected.
Yeah, because you have to take care of the situation then.
That's it.
So they are becoming burdens on us, aren't they?
And there's one thing they have been thinking of. You know, Bible and Quran have said it that orphans are God's eye.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so what I believe is when you take care of an orphan, you have more blessing.
Amen.
That's what I know. Oh, it's true.
Okay.
If you take care of an orphan, you have more blessings.
Okay. We have someone on the line. Hello, good morning. Okay. So the only thing I'll tell Kukwa is she should pray and ask God to just show her the way she will move her steps, and try to put herself in a society that God can give her someone who can help her continue her schooling as she wanted. And with prayer, things will work out for her. Okay. We have Queena on the line. Queena, welcome to the show. I hear you want to speak tree.
Good morning.
Good morning, Queena. It's the same.
Yeah,
how are you?
No,
Nyame adom. I'm blessed. Thank you. Pacho. Okay, please go ahead. Pacho Chewadrin.
My mama said, sorry now. We get to have one sorry. And then your mom is out. I'm sorry. You'll be our leader, so you be sacrifice everything. Over flower, I do area. You You tell me why I'm talking about one. Oh no, but dance.
Oh God.
It is a coming on. If you are pocket sick a cram one. And it will be our two ice water. But they did go for GB to tongue a cracker cry. You may open. That is thing I miss that the many biography. I can't say two got now being saying, and even take it advantage of the situation. It's me young, maybe. Your mere mamma, my first situation movie. This situation I have read.
Oh gosh. Queen, I'm so sorry about that. Oh, then I will hear Queen. She's gonna make me cry right now. Queen Auntie says, "Say what you're doing." That's so sad. So the caller has had some bad experiences where she's slaved for a certain man who she thought would, help her out, and the man ended up raping her. I think, society. See, this is where the police has to come in. Honestly, I think the police are too cool. They're not concerned about citizens anymore. All they care about is DV plates. Oh my goodness. So I think, you know what? Soldiers will do a better job. Honestly, they will beat the hell out of an abuser, because we are contributing to all these things happening. Look at Queena. She sounds like somebody who really wants to work for her money, and then a man just takes advantage of, her. I mean,
I think the reason is they fail to report such cases to the police.
Right, because the police don't do nothing about it. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, we have Michael on the line. Michael from Ashimota, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. What do you have to add, Michael?
What I have to say is that for those of us,
we don't have a lot of time, so please make it fast for us.
I believe that we must work our way out. If you're an orphan and you want to save somebody's house, you must be very hard working.
And you think the people who get raped are not hardworking, that's why they get raped?
Well, no. You work you see, in the house. And you will be welcome because you are hardworking.
Michael, it's easy for you to say because you're a man. Can you imagine a woman who is hardworking anyway, and I think Queena is. She is working her butt off to prove that I deserve this job. But then the man of the house at night is only when he comes out to abuse her. What do you do in that situation? Although she's working her butt off, in the night, she's like a victim, of rape. How do we solve this issue?
In that case, don't stay with somebody, don't stay with a male, sorry.
Okay.
Try and be with a female auntie or somebody who is not married or who doesn't have a man to abuse you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you. So I think house helps, the sex does matter. Maybe for a woman, a lady like Kukwa, you should stay with a lady who can't sexually abuse you. Yeah. And then men,
well, they can.
And if you don't get a lady to stay with and it's a man, how do you do?
Oh dear Lord,
nowadays,
this is a hard situation.
Women sexually abuse women.
That is true. I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. And it's not just sexual abuse. It's all forms of
physical
abuse. Sometimes it's overusing you. That alone is abuse. Yeah. They think you're hardworking, so they would use you morning, afternoon. You're constantly on your feet. You don't sleep. You don't eat well. They don't give you medicine when you're ill. All kinds of things are happening to these, young ladies who are making an effort to survive, Anyway, we're going to take a few words from Hillary Clinton and we'll be back to close.
On Inspired by Women today, we have a quote by Hillary Clinton. Every moment wasted looking back keeps us from moving forward.
Okay, unfortunately, we've run out of time. So very quickly, 10 seconds each. What Kukwa can do to help a situation, please, Hajia.
Kukwa. The woman who called now and spoke tree said she should try her best to do something. Fine. Kukwa should try her best in doing something, but still she should have to go to church. Or if she is a Muslim,
the mosque. Thank you so much. Ellie.
Well, thank you. What I think Kukwa should do is this. I think the Bible says that curse is anyone who makes arm of flesh his strength, which means we should not depend on people or rely on people. So even when she goes to church, she should go with a primary objective to worship.
Right.
Worship is in various forms.
Right.
You can serve as a chorister if you have a good voice, or you can be trained to be one.
Right.
You can be an usher. You can
anything in the church.
Anything in the church.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we've lost time, so we've run out of time. So I want to say a big thank you to GTP New Style for sponsoring the show, to Elite Hair Studios for my hair and nails on a weekly basis. I'm looking good, ain't I? To Barbara Johnson for my outfit, and my mom for this beautiful shawl. To you for doing the watching. Like I always say, make sure that whatever you do it with a clean heart, and you would attract only cleanliness in your life. Call me Movi the Motivator. Till next time, take care of you and each other. Shalom.